All right, we're live, living in Jacksonville, Florida, the channel. Good evening, Miss Rachel. How are you tonight?
Good. How are you?
Good. Just flew in from Dallas, Texas. So, what I love about these trips is that when you get back, you learn to appreciate where you live even more. And I love it here in Northeast Florida. And I'm going to confirm that after being in Dallas at a real estate conference for 3 days, that I do indeed love it here. And I'm glad to be back.
Yeah. Well, it's been rainy here, so
Oh, so I didn't miss much.
we
Okay.
didn't miss a lot.
It wasn't raining in Dallas. It actually got a little cooler over there, and I'm actually looking forward to our fall this year. So bring on the cooler weather. When's it coming?
I mean, your guess is as good as mine. It's been so hot.
Okay. All right. Jeez, normally you're the uplifting one. You're bringing me down, girl.
Sorry, man. It's so hot and rainy right now.
All right. So I didn't miss much. Either way, I was in a conference and I was literally sitting in a dark room for 2 days with the air conditioning really low. You know how they do that at conferences? I guess they don't want you to fall asleep. So they just put it on 60s or something and everybody's wearing sweaters. And then you get outside and you're like, whoo, it's hot. Yeah. But kind of like that. So anyway, what are we talking about tonight?
Oh, we've got hottest zip codes and just a little bit of info, like, just kind of news articles I came across over the last couple of days about home sales and the market sort of in general.
Yeah. There's been a lot of talk, even at this conference, we're talking about what massive differences of the market around the country. And I've kind of been bringing that up on a lot of the videos lately. And it's incredible because there is so many variations of the real estate market depending on where you are in the country, specifically the Northeast, the Jersey, the New Yorks, the DCs, the Virginias, certain areas in the Midwest. They're just still selling really like hotcakes. And honestly, in the last 10 days, it's definitely been an uptick for us as well. I've been running nonstop like crazy. Got some folks coming down this weekend. They just got their home under contract in the Carolinas. So they're finally coming down. So it's just people, they're saying, hey, we're ready to buy. We're just waiting for our house to go under contract. So it's kind of where we are. So by no means do I feel like there's, any kind of recession. It's called a reset. So we'll see how these interest rates, if there's really going to be a drop in September like people are anticipating. So the best zip codes was off realtor.com. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm doing hottest zip codes from realtor.com. They have like a little hottest zip codes map. So I'll pull that up in a minute.
Yeah. And so it's interesting also, the conference I was at, the CEO of realtor.com was there, and he talked a lot heavily about how we really have to show people these days as agents, the pros and cons of renting right now. A lot of these homes that are not selling at what people would wish they could sell for, or thought they could sell for based on the pricing 2 years ago, they're now becoming a landlords unexpectedly. And so he's saying there's a lot of inquiries on realtor.com right now for rentals on the rental market. So for all my investors out there, if it's a buyer's market here, there are a lot of people that are still contemplating renting because of interest rates or instability with their jobs, with AI replacing everything. So he's like, we're getting a lot of hits on the site. And that's one of the biggest real estate sites in the world. We're getting a lot of inquiries about rentals, which I thought was very interesting because rentals really don't pay out a lot to real estate agents. So they don't love doing them. But the whole idea is, hey guys, I'll help you find a rental with the indicator that you love me so much because I treated you so well that when you are ready to buy, that you will, be loyal and go ahead and use the services of a real estate broker once you're ready to buy. So that was one of the big conversations. So realtor.com definitely is a good resource. So it's nice to look at what their perspective is on what's going on in an area. Any surprises like overall when you're doing your research?
Yeah, for sure. There was definitely surprises for me. So we can jump right in and
let's do it.
We'll get to all the good stuff.
All right. By the way, people, if you are watching from somewhere that's out of town or even locally, we would love to know where you're watching from. Feel free to go ahead and put it in the comments section. We'll certainly respond to you. We love it when you do that. And that way we know where you're watching from and that we can, this is interactive. If you have any questions, put it in the comments as well. All right, shoot.
All right. So first up, we have Florida housing market favors buyers as prices drop in major cities. So this article, it just came out yesterday, and this is the Jacksonville Business Journal.
Cool.
So, so it says here in Jacksonville, Miami, Orlando, and Tampa, home values are falling, inventory is lingering, and buyers are increasingly in control. So this is sort of what you've been saying. I don't think this is anything like what we saw like back in 2008 or anything like that. I think it's a reset, like you've said. Like things are just sort of leveling out after we had that skyrocketing in 2020.
Yeah, I mean, those are all the major cities, right? Jacksonville, Miami, Orlando, Tampa. Home prices are falling, inventory lingering, buyers are increasingly in control. And, take that with a grain of salt. It also depends on what neighborhood it is,
right,
the size of home, what kind of inventory is available. I know a lot of those markets, the condo market is really soft right now. I'm listing my brother's condo down in South Florida. That's where I used to live. Had not had a lot of showings lately either. But again, another reason why it's really important right now to have, if you have to list your home, that you have a good real estate professional to put together a good marketing plan for you, so you're not just sitting duck on the market.
Right. And then this is another article just came out yesterday. Again, Jacksonville Business Journal. Home buyers are gaining leverage, but the minimum income to buy is surging. So again, kind of the same story. And, every city is going to be different. Like you said, everywhere has got a little bit of a different story depending on their specific market. But it says Americans now need to earn $114,000 per year to afford a median priced home. So
here in Jacksonville, or is that just in America in general?
America in general.
Oh, well, I wonder why people are leaving Northern California. I mean, San Jose, you only have to make $370,000 a year to be able to afford a home.
Right. I mean, that's definitely quite a big jump. So you see that and you're like, oh, okay. So yeah, our, in Jacksonville, it's much, much lower than that.
Mm-hmm.
And this, again, we're just going from market to market. First coast home sales slowed in July, but prices inched up. So that's just kind of interesting. So closed sales for single family homes totaled a 9.4 decrease from June. Median numbers of days on the market in July was 43. It's funny because I feel like 43, it sounds like a lot when we're coming off the hot market that we've had, but I don't know if that really is that long. It is long when you're selling. It feels like forever.
No, but it's normal. It's a balanced market. It's the new, people just don't realize we've been so blessed for so long. They don't realize that pre-pandemic, that's how long it took to sell a house. It was 30, 40 days possibly. So we're like, you're absolutely right. I'm so glad you said that.
I mean, I've been lucky enough to sell, own a condo in Atlanta that we sold. And, it took a little bit. And then when we were in Illinois and we were moving back here, it took a little while. And sometimes there's factors with closings that you just don't really, that adds to those numbers that maybe is just, like for our situation, it took us 60 days to close in Illinois, but that's because we were waiting for school to be over,
Mm-hmm.
So I just always kind of wonder if some of those numbers, there's more to the story.
Absolutely. But the overwhelming response was at this conference this week was that the majority of people are just not priced correctly. We're having to really show data to our sellers as agents and show them why they're priced so high compared to what's going on today or last week, not 6 months, 9 months, or a year ago.
Right.
We've put some very good offers in the last few weeks, and not all of them have been accepted, which means that the seller's agent is not, whoever the listing agent is, not properly explaining to their seller where evaluations are, and that's why they're not able to come to an agreement on the purchase of the home, and then the home just sits on the market. And the longer you sit in the market, it devalues the home. It's okay, 30, 40 average days on market. But once you start getting over the average days on market, then there's a reason to be concerned. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. And it's so interesting too, because you get similar kind of markets. You got First Coast home sales slowed down in July, but prices inched up. And then the next headline I have is Florida's July housing median prices and sales are down. So it's kind of like, okay, prices are down, I guess, in Florida, but First Coast specifically, prices are up. So it's always interesting to see, like, you can look at Florida numbers or Jacksonville numbers, but if you get even more micro from there's like a micro market for each little area, and it just seems like the stories just change just a little bit.
For sure. For sure.
Also, existing home sales increased 2% in July. So national home sales ticked up in July, led by steady month-over-month growth in the South, Northeast, and West. Inventory reached its highest since 2020. So yeah, it just seems like it's all a balancing act, and it's all just trying to figure out, the sellers trying to get back to reality and the buyers trying to meet in the middle.
Yep. A meeting of the minds is what they call it.
I like it. But looking ahead, I saw this article from the Jacksonville Business Journal again. This is also from yesterday. Favor Gray expands Jacksonville Beach office, adds modern building with a courtyard. Favor Gray is a construction management and general contracting company. To me, the fact that they're expanding is optimistic. So when I see things like this in the Jacksonville market, when you see construction companies expanding, I feel like that's a good sign. So I feel like that's a good sign for long-term in the market when you see, construction companies and builders alike. So I have another article here. We have a builder that's expanding into the Jacksonville market after 15 years on Amelia Island, MCG Homes. So looking ahead, I think our market is still strong. I think it's still,
Yeah, I mean, when investors are spending money, there's a good indicator that they're seeing or they're kind of seeing things that the general person in the public wouldn't see. So
yeah. So when I saw these two articles,
What's that?
Yeah, when I saw these two articles, I thought, well, I should mention it just because I feel like it seems like you read it and it feels like a lot of doom and gloom about the residential market. But really, when you see these kinds of things, it's like, okay, there's still optimism out there when you see builders and contractors expanding their business.
For sure, especially in Northeast Florida, we have some of the best home insurance rates than the rest of Florida. And a lot of people are leaving South Florida and moving up north to places like Orlando, and now they're leaving Tampa. So, that used to be the number one hotspot. So definitely a good place to be here in Northeast Florida.
Right. So moving on now to our hot zip codes in this area. So this map over here, and I'm sorry I can't expand it better than this. This is the Jacksonville area. This is realtor.com. This is their market hotness map. And so this area here is the very hot area. And it is in the north part of the Jacksonville area, Nassau County, Callahan, which I did not expect. This for me was a little bit of a surprise to find out that was a hot market in the Jacksonville area.
Well, Nassau County is gaining popularity, right? School districts gaining popularity. It's not a bad location. And honestly, if you're commuting into the city, I don't know how bad it is. I mean, our commutes are getting pretty bad from the south going north. I'm wondering if it's any better in that area, just cutting commute times being in that area, because Callahan is definitely, probably not as massively developed as other parts of Jacksonville. So it's a new burb area, and it's affordable.
Right. What I really also like to see whenever I look up different areas is this is like the Nassau County vision plan. But a lot of times you can find some just interesting like data points. And what I thought was interesting here, people per square mile in Nassau, 140 people per square mile in the region. I mean, you look at those numbers to compare in the region, 462 people per square mile, or for the state of Florida, 401 people per square mile. You can kind of get the idea of like, oh, okay, there's wide open space out there.
Yeah. People want space.
Right. So if you're looking for, a little breathing room,
Yeah.
Nassau County, you got to look at that area. But I will say this. I also like to look at what their plans are. And you can see in this map here that they do have, this is not the Callahan area specifically. This is more East Nassau. So more towards Yulee, heading towards Fernandina Beach. You can see that they have tier 1 residential, tier 2 residential, tier 3 residential. So there's stuff still coming. And then you've got this orange area of resort development too that's coming. So when you see this map and you see, okay, they are planning on filling some of that in.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm going to share this tab really quick so that you can get a better idea of Nassau County, just, where it is in relation to Jacksonville. So all this northern part, including Fernandina Beach, Amelia Island. So Callahan, that was the hottest zip code. That is 32011.
Nice.
And near there, if you're interested in those kind of master plan communities, they have Wildlight. That's one of the ones out there. They begin their newest phase with new homes, districts, and visions for the future. This is from August 11th. The Florida Times Union, Jacksonville.com. So Wildlight's a 24,000 acre development in Nassau County. And so it's definitely an up and coming area. Callahan just seems like it's going to be the next big thing. And Wildlight is right near there. And I did find this. This is maybe even where that resort spot was going to go. Actually, I'm not really quite sure where this is. I'm going to have to look it up on the map in a minute. But inside Pine Royale, the rising 63 million golf and entertainment resort in Callahan. So this is coming to Callahan. This article came from yesterday. I promise I start doing the research before the day before. But a lot of articles came out yesterday, and I just happened to double check all my work and found all this new stuff popping up. So things are changing constantly. Pine Royale, it's going to have golf. It's revitalizing a former 18-hole course into a 9-hole layout.
265 acres of once vacant fairways in Callahan. Bulldozers and golf carts are carving out $63 million experiment in leisure and lifestyle. What do you know? It's very interesting. Back in the day, I invest in multifamily syndications and whatnot. And back when multifamily was still hot and we're not going through the lending crisis now, there was a brand new multifamily development over there that became available, and we kind of gawked at the price of it. They had an outside storage facility, but you got to remember there's Amazon out there, the airport's near there. There's just a lot of good stuff near there, and it's a really cute town if you like the country feel right now. And we were shocked at the prices they were asking, but it's sold and it's doing really well. So
right.
Our assumption was wrong just because we're not educated. We don't go out there all the time, but obviously other developers are, seeing a lot of value there. And then you're also really close to the Georgia border. There's just a lot of benefits. And if the price is better than, Jacksonville or our area is getting more and more expensive, St. Augustine, it's an alternative.
Right. And you still have a lot of access to a lot of things in Jacksonville. So if you are in Callahan, but you want to, get to a Jags game, here's the map. Here's Callahan right there. Getting to a Jags game is not too hard. Getting downtown.
Yeah.
And then here is that Deerfield golf course now, where they're going to put that Pine Royale 63 million resort. So that'll be pretty neat.
For sure. Definitely interesting to see a resort going out in Callahan.
Right. I mean, anybody I've mentioned it to that, grew up in this area, they're like, really, Callahan? Everybody kind of thinks of that as out in the middle of nowhere. But,
For all my folks in Callahan, make sure you put a comment on there if you live in Callahan. Tell me what what you're thinking about all this. They're like, don't tell anybody about it. Stop the development. We don't want you here.
Right. So yeah, I mean, it's just, Jacksonville is growing, and with that, it does expand, and it just keeps kind of moving out of the circle. So, but next zip code we are going to talk about is 32233 Atlantic Beach. I really liked going to ChatGPT and just seeing what they have to say, what it has to say about different areas. And it says, living in Atlantic Beach, Florida offers a unique blend of laid-back coastal charm, abundant outdoor recreation, and a tight-knit community just steps from the ocean. Here's what makes it a delightful place to live. Small town, yet connected. Population and feel. It's got a community-oriented vibe. Quality of life. Most residents own their homes. The area is praised for its walkability. You get the idea. And I would agree with this. Sometimes you put stuff into ChatGPT and you're like, oh, no, that doesn't quite vibe with what I thought.
Well, they call it's hallucinating when they get bad information on an AI. It's called hallucinations. So
good to know.
Does it tell you how outrageously expensive Atlantic Beach is?
It is expensive. So it says housing variety. It says options range from charming beach bungalows and cozy cottages to modern oceanfront homes and upscale estate. Homes east of Seminole Road often list for over $1 million, while more affordable options may be available west of Seminole or in townhomes. So
it's just got a killer vibe. I don't know what it is, but Atlantic Beach is just a cool place to be. You know what I mean?
Right. It is cool. And then it says who lives here. Median age hovers in the upper 40s. So I will say kind of a younger vibe. I'll say it. I'll say younger
Upper
vibe.
40s is a younger vibe.
Well, I feel
Who
like.
are you kidding?
Hey, I mean, you looked at, did you see? Yeah, I guess you're right. But, we're not talking Florida old.
No. Look, Northeast Florida is not like South Florida where people go to die. I mean, forgive me, South Florida. We're not purgatory here. We're not even seasonal, really. I mean, most of the people that live here all year round. South Florida, in certain areas of Tampa, people go and live there seasonally, and then it's a big retirement area. But I think that's going to change too. I don't know, because we have changes seasons, gets colder. Maybe we won't get a big retirement crew here. Like totally. There's a lot of great options. I have a lot of retirees moving here because our medical community is bar none one of the best in the state, if not the country, with Mayo, Baptist, UF, Flagler Health, all those massive hospitals and specialists. So definitely a lot. I've been looking at the hits of my 55 plus content in YouTube. And some of my old timers out there, you've been hitting it hard, man, because that I've been, when everybody else doesn't have money, they still have money. So they're the ones calling and going, can I get a deal right now? So.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good time to take a look anyway. And yeah, I agree. It seems like whenever I'm going through all of this research, it's very, very often I see new medical facilities that are coming to different areas, and it's constantly, I feel like, in the news cycle.
Yeah.
A new hospital, new medical something, whatever.
I think like what we were trying to say about Atlantic Beach, though, is even though you're saying late 40s, it's cool, we're still young, that's the thing. It's a very active, like young, happening place, even for people in their late 40s. Because if you're watching this in your 20s, 30s, you're like, dude, what do you mean young? That's like, no, I don't want to go hang out with you down there or whatever. And I'm like, I get it. I don't even take it personal. Right. But it's a very active area. You'll see people riding bikes around, skateboards, all that, going to dinner on a golf cart. It's kind of a chill vibe. The beach thing is huge. You can bring your doggies on the beach, and that's a really big thing. They even have the doggy water fountains in the square there. So it's a killer place. Neptune and Atlantic Beach is a really cool meeting point for sure.
Right. I will say, though, if you're looking for new construction, Atlantic Beach is not going to be it.
No, you need to have a healthy budget of at least a couple $1 million.
Right. Because I was looking, I was like, oh, I wonder what new construction's in Atlantic Beach, and only 4 homes popped up, and I think they're just sort of like one-offs, like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And Atlantic Beach Country Club is another stellar place as well. I mean, the golf course and the club's pretty nice, and you can ride your bike to the beach and play some killer golf. Great club. They just renovated it. I mean, whoa, if I ever stop working 70 hours one day, that's the dream, man, for sure.
I get it. Okay, so on to our next zip code. We have 32225. A lot of twos in there. This is East Arlington. And this is, I feel like, more of like a work, like these are people who are working, they're driving to work, and this is less walkable. It's still like, it's a good, safe area. It's pretty close to the beach still. So it doesn't give me the same kind of information on ChatGPT about the vibes, but just think kind of your typical suburb of a city, East Arlington. And hold on, you know what? I'll actually show you where it is on the hotness map.
Like Arlington's one of the places in Jacksonville, and I'm not from here, but Arlington's one of the places in Jacksonville historically used to be a pretty hot area to begin with. And then it kind of died out a little bit, and now it's like kind of going through, what do you call it? I don't want to say regentrification. What's that?
Like a resurgence?
Yeah, I think it's becoming popular again, because if you go west of Atlantic Beach, I mean, there's only if it's so expensive in one area, it becomes more affordable where you can pick up a really nice property in a historic part of Jacksonville and not be killed in price.
Right. And it's really close. If you're military and you're going to be stationed in Mayport, still really close to Mayport.
Yeah.
It's known to be a family-friendly part of town.
Sure.
And still a lot of access to all that outdoor recreation. I mean, you can see it's very close to the beach, and you've got the St. Johns River. All that is right there. So that was my next one on the hotness chart. And then, actually, I found this really cool place that just opened today.
Is there any like indication of exactly how they're evaluating these top zip codes, realtor.com?
They are a little vague with it.
Okay.
But
carry on.
Sorry. They're a little vague with it. But in that East Arlington area, they did get a really cool new place today called Chip Shot Sports and Entertainment Complex. It opened today. So they've got some new recreation out that way. They've got indoor pickleball courts, golf simulators, a new bar and restaurant. Owner and PGA Tour pro Thomas Walsh said that there are already several hundred wings in the smoker and several pounds of brisket slow cooking in anticipation of the opening. So,
you know what? I love that. I mean, for a family to be able to go and have some dinner and play pickleball and swing a golf club and everything. I mean, it's something to do, right?
Well, especially on these rainy, hot days.
There you go. It's all indoor, right?
It's indoors. It's got 2 basketball courts along with lawn games like cornhole and a giant Jenga set and table tennis. I'm sure they have some outdoor parts of it, but they do have indoor pickleball and golf simulators. I would be inside.
Not enough pickleball courts in Jacksonville. Another place to do it.
So, I mean, indoors. I mean, that's kind of new.
Yeah. Well, you know, them pickleball players like to have a beer afterwards, and sometimes I've heard they've been participating. Wow. Well, I'll stop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've heard. I don't know, just heard.
I wouldn't know. I have dabbled.
Pickleball is one of those sports that you don't have to be an expert or anything. Any of my pickleball players put in the comments there. They always say anybody can go out, pick up a pickleball. You can't call it a racket though; it's called a paddle, and you can go out and have fun. There's all different skill levels, so it's one of those kind of fun sports.
Well, I think it's fun. I do I've dabbled in it. I do think it's fun.
There you go.
So
You're a dabbler.
yes. All right. So the next area we're going to take a look at is this whole area here. It's actually 3 different zip codes. It is the Mandarin area of Jacksonville, and this is what they're calling one of the the warm area. It's a warm area of the Jacksonville area, and there's 3 different zip codes in there. Is 32223, 32257, and 32258. And this is really, when I was growing up, that's where we were. So it's more established neighborhoods. They do have some little areas where you can get some new construction, but really this is going to be more established neighborhoods. This is going to be, you do have some places that have some waterfront with the St. John's River is right there. You've got some creeks that run through people's backyards that come off that St. John's River.
A creek.
Okay, exactly. So again, you still have access to a lot of stuff. It might not be as close of a drive to the beach, but you still have a lot of that more old Florida feel with all of the
Spanish moss oak trees are beautiful. Right. The river is there. Trader Joe's is there.
Yep, there's a Trader Joe's out that way. That's
Fresh Market is it not Fresh Market? Whole Foods is there too, I think.
Yeah, they got Whole Foods. They have Fresh Market out that way too.
Yeah. You grew up there.
Yep, I did. So yeah.
So for all my listeners out there, why not raise your children there?
Why don't I raise my children out there?
Yeah, I mean, people are looking to relocate there. I mean, the homes are beautiful out there. You can get a lot of home for less money. It also used to be a hot place to be. Obviously, all those big grocery chains and stores are there. Is it a school thing then?
No, for us, it really came down to where all of our family is in the Florida area or in this
closer to the beach.
We wanted to be close to the beach. My husband, he surfed growing up and still wants that opportunity to teach our kids to surf. And so he wanted to be close to the beach. So that was important. We have family that's out in Ponte Vedra Beach and 32082 zip code. And my dad lives in the Mandarin area. Where we ended up in Nocatee kind of felt like a nice sort of in the middle. Like it's about 20 minutes to drive to his parents' house. And it's about 30 minutes to drive to my dad's house. And then my mom's right down the street.
So would you say it's like a 40 minute drive just to get to the beach from Mandarin then?
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah, it's appropriate.
Okay. Yeah. So Mandarin is definitely, I mean, from all the people I know in Mandarin, they tend to be boaters and, they like to fish. And so they're outdoorsy in just a different way. And they have the option of the Freedom Boat Club is like something that if you're into boating, but you don't really want to own a boat because it's just so much maintenance. That's an option that you could do if you live in Mandarin. And it's really easy because you've got a marina. You just, drive up and they hand you the keys and off you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Mandarin has a lot. And it was definitely something like we were weighing and kind of going back and forth on.
Because you get a lot more house for the money than in St. John's County over there. There are some really good charter schools, I think, as well. So it's not a bad area to consider if you like that old Florida Spanish oak, the river. We lived in Julington Creek, just south of there, and we used to go take the girls to that park right there on the river. We used to go to fish camp by the marina there for dinner and all that. So there's some really cool old Florida vibes there for sure. So cool area for sure.
Yeah, and it definitely is a lot of young families. It's a great area. It's definitely one to consider and one we considered. But ultimately, the beach, it calls us. We're like Moana.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we can't beat being as close to the beach. I'm with you there because coming from South Florida, we always lived near the beach, growing up in the island near the beach. So that is a little bit of hike. That's why we didn't stay out there. But really quick, these zip codes are picked by Realtor.com, not us, by the way. So anybody from those areas are feeling slighted. We didn't pick them. And
Right. They're just saying these are the hottest zip codes. So market
yeah,
hot.
they're based on market demand right now, as well as the speed of sales. So that's what their criteria is by realtor.com. The demand, the level of demand, and the speed of sales.
Yeah, it seems to me they probably have a lot of info on what they can see on what people are searching. So
For sure.
yeah. So our last zip code from realtor.com for market hotness is this another warm one. It's Fleming Island. So going over into Clay County, Fleming Island. So over the bridge, over the Buckman Bridge from Mandarin, you head west. And that zip code is 32003. And says, thinking about Fleming Island on ChatGPT. Here's the visual glimpse of the community. It's scenic waterways, welcoming neighborhoods, and plenty of lush natural surroundings. So it's another, why people pick it. Excellent schools, family-friendly environment, natural beauty, outdoor living, strong sense of community, lifestyle amenities. Some of those neighborhoods, they're established, but they still have some of those resort-style amenities. Eagle Harbor, Fleming Island, Plantation, and Pace Island. So, oh, I love this. Its residents said, never have to leave the island. You've got convenient access to Target.
Woo! Target.
You got a movie theater, and you got great local dining options. I love that Whitey's Fish Camp made the options. It's a great fish camp, but it's a fish camp. V Pizza, and then there's also La Napolera Mexican restaurant. So,
Yeah.
solid Mexican, but your typical kind of Mexican restaurant.
Yep. A lot of my military folk over in that area, a lot of military retiring over there, not too far from the base, good price. Homes aren't as close to each other, but as you showed in previous shows, we've got a lot of future development going on from there, between there and Green Cove Springs.
Right.
Yeah. So, and it'll be easier access with the new highway, which we are doing a really killer video that's going to be out on Tuesday. My videographer, Kurt, shout out to him, put some incredible footage of what neighborhoods that highway is going to be going near in the St. Johns County area. So, awesome. But Fleming Island has got so much potential for new construction around those areas, as you had pointed out. And one of the big ones I'm excited about is I want to see these agri-hoods being developed, because they're doing really well in other areas, other parts of the country, and other states. And I think it's a phenomenal area. One of our agents lives in Fleming Island, and man, she's never left. She talks really good about it. So they're kind of their own little culture over there. A really awesome place to be.
Right. So just those are the hot zip codes from realtor.com. But
yeah, and just so everybody understands, I mean, these are all very specifically in Duval County, the Jacksonville area. So
in Nassau and Clay.
Okay, Nassau and Clay, yeah. But it doesn't include St. Johns County.
Well, if you look at this hotness map, let's see. Well, let me pull this back up so you can see it. Our hotness map for St. Johns County was not hot.
Wow. You want to know why?
Why?
We're expensive.
It could be that. Well, and I think we've got, but so is Atlantic Beach. So, but
we have a little bit.
Yeah, true. So, so it's just kind of interesting. But yeah, you zoom out and you can kind of see that's the Callahan. And then, you see warm areas, Palatka, which I thought was sort of also just interesting. But you look at all these areas and you realize too, they all sort of have some kind of access to the outside. I mean, even Palatka, you've got rivers running through there that make it fun to be there and to go outside and go do stuff. Mandarin area, you've got easy access to the rivers. Atlantic Beach, you've got easy access to the beach. Same thing with that East Arlington area. So it seems to me that the hotness, it's like a balance between like finding areas where people can spend time outside and also, a little more affordable.
Definitely. I think affordability drives a lot of that for sure. Um, but affordability and then location, they're phenomenal locations.
Right. And none of this is a predictor of the future. I mean, as you can see here, Green Cove Springs is in this very cool area, but you and I know that there's a lot to come. So that will probably turn.
Yeah. Well, yeah, those areas that people don't know about, there's going to be a lot of potential in the future. And now with that highway coming through there,
Right.
giving access from 95, that connector. Listen, I did a show not too long ago. It was a few years ago. We did a Thursday Night Live, and there was an article came out that we read about one of these places you're talking about, and we kind of poked fun of the area. I'm not going to say which one it was. And man, did we agitate the locals in that area. And, they took it really personal. And we were like, you know what? The reality is maybe we sound ignorant because Jacksonville is so spread out, right? And I mean, it's one of the biggest cities in the country geographically. Okay.
Right.
So it's so spread out. And the way we have these areas, you're very self-sufficient, like Fleming Island. They have all their stores, they have their golf courses, they have the river, they have everything they want there. And we have a lifestyle here that is so relaxed, probably compared to a lot of other cities in the country, that you don't want to leave. You're just chill. You're like, hey, everything's here, So it's like, same with Atlantic Beach. It's got more of a beachy bohemian vibe. It's very laid back. So, once you find your area, or if you're younger and you want to be in Jack's Beach and a little bit of the scene and the beach volleyball scene and et cetera, or surf by the pier or whatever, it just depends on what you're into. And when you're into that, you don't really leave enough of the time. So like, if we're not out there showing homes or going out there for any reason, it's hard for us to comment on what is it really like, because it's a distance out there. And so some of these areas, like we're like Callahan or Palatka or Green Cove Springs, because they were such small unknown areas before. Now that Jacksonville is growing, we can't grasp our minds about what kind of development is going to happen out there, because the
Right.
reality is Florida has become so ridiculously unaffordable that if you want to live somewhere like reasonably fair price, you have to go live in the sticks. Like they call it Orlando, but it's not even Orlando. It's like central North Florida, for instance. And if you can live in Jacksonville, where you're 45 minutes from the beach, but not 2-3 hours from the beach central, and
Right.
still have a lower price living, but still have access to a very, cool place like Jacksonville, or even St. Augustine, which isn't a far drive either. It's so undervalued. And the opportunity is massive, and people are going to discover it, and they're going to go out there and go, you know what? I don't want to pay a lot of money. I kind of like it out here.
Right. Right. I mean, it's always about finding what feels like home to you. If you're looking for wide open spaces, you're going to have to drive a little bit out of the city to find that. But, find your place, find your people. You can do it.
People are so nice, man. Southern North Florida.
I know. Everybody's pretty chill.
Yeah, they are.
But now we're on to my favorite part of the show. I think, pretty sure it'll be my favorite part of the show, is your hottest zip code.
Oh, well, look, no one's made any comments tonight. People watching tonight, where are you watching from? Are you locals or are you out of state? I need somebody to make a comment on where you're watching from tonight. I'll be very, very happy if you do. So, well, people are dropping off right when I ask if anybody of anything, they leave. So my favorite zip code, look, I think my favorite zip codes, and I'm going to start off with the one that I don't live in, because if I say the one I do live in, people are going to go, oh, you're so biased. Of course you're going to say that. But I like 32259.
Okay.
All right. I'm a big fan of St. John's. Okay. Now, that's just south of Mandarin, the Julington Creek area, all the way down to the Rivertown area. And I just want to say that I like St. John's. I think it's a it's a cool place because you've got river properties, but you're not too far from, you have Durban. It's quite a large area span. It's been around for, it's been developed for quite a while. The Julington Creek area in the early 2000s. And there's some really beautiful parts there. The people are awesome. It's actually the place we moved to when we left South Florida 7 years ago. And we almost bought a home out there. And the only reason we didn't is because of the proximity to the beach. Same deal as you, because we live near the beach in South Florida. I grew up on the beach in the Caribbean, and that was the reason we left. But I just love St. John's. Now people are like, you mean St. John's County? No, I mean St. John's, which is in St. John's County, the northwest section of St. John's County. So I love that area because you can get to Mandarin, you can get to Durban, you can get to Rivertown. It's not that terrible to go to the beach. It's about probably 40-minute drive now, but it used to be not a whole lot going on there, but now it's developed, but there's still some parts that are really protected. And I know a lot of people in the area that still, they moved back there. And of course, my first choice being Joseph. Wait, hold on here. I got somebody. Joseph and Yari watching. Watching from where, though? Where are you watching from? I want to know where you're watching from tonight, but thank you for watching. They'll get back to me. They'll let us know where they're watching from. And then of course, if I want to be near the beach, I certainly am not going to pay $2 million for a similar house in Ponte Vedra Beach for an older home. So the affordability for Ponte Vedra Beach for me, I think, is gone past where I want to be for that home. Not big on to doing renovations. So the next best thing is instead of 3208 is 32081.
Yep.
You got it. You knew I was going to do that. You had it already.
I was ready.
Yeah. But we are incredibly biased. And listen, the reason I think that is because think about the location, right? St. John's, where I just showed you, which is 32259 and 3281. If you look at the overall map, that area, it goes all the way across. It's basically North St. John's County, right before the Duval border. The reason is, and if you scroll out even more, it's very central to downtown St. Augustine and downtown Jacksonville. And so coming from South Florida, I lived in Boca Raton. Don't hold it against me. It was when Boca Raton wasn't Boca yet. But it was like the old Dell, Arvida, Siemens like companies of Boca Raton, South Florida. That was kind of in between Palm Beach and Miami, or Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale. So for us, it was kind of a cool place to be in the middle of St. John's or Nocatee area. Ponte Vedra is in between Jacksonville and St. Augustine. And so this kind of sets us up for the actuality of our next show that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about comparing from our perspectives the difference between living in St. Augustine and living in Jacksonville, because there's quite a difference. Wouldn't you agree, Rachel?
I would agree. Yeah, I think there's definitely a different vibe. And then really even like when you get to Jacksonville, there's different neighborhoods and they all have their own different vibes.
Yes.
And by neighborhoods, I don't mean like, your little neighborhood with the community pool down the road. I mean like the big communities.
Right. So for us, I like this middle area, whether it's St. John's or Ponte Vedra, because I like Jacksonville, but I like St. Augustine. And I don't know which one I like better. But for this section of my life where I don't have to pay for my kids to go to private school, and as much as people complain and go on and on about how the schools and overcrowding and blah, 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 my girls are still happy, thank God, because I don't have to shell out for private school. I'm a product of private school, and my wife was public, and she's way smarter and better than I am. So I just don't see the value of working another 40 hours a week, making 120 to put my kids in private school. So St. John's County, being the north section here, it's still near Duval. I can still get to St. Augustine. and I can still take advantage of the schooling. So for me, those are my choices tonight. I don't think I'm being totally biased. I think it's a fair assessment, but that's why I always say to folks, listen, it really depends on where you're coming from, what you're looking for. There's something for everybody in Northeast Florida. There really is. And, if you want to live in a horse farm in West St. Augustine and you still want to go boating or golfing, you can do that.
Right.
It just really depends on what. If you want to be hanging out in downtown Atlantic Beach and going to dinner on your golf cart and still go golfing and still go to the beach and walk the dog on the beach and go jogging, you can do that as long as you have the flow. But I digress. There's so many different areas depending on your situation, your lifestyle. That's why it's so imperative that you really have a good real estate professional that asks the right questions, that we start with, where are you coming from? What is it you're looking from? Why are you moving? What's what's your budget where you're not going to be, house poor? And there's so many options. It's so killer that we have those options here in Northeast Florida. And then when some people hear what the insurance rates are compared to what Tampa or South Florida, they're flabbergasted, at the end of the day. So all I can say is we're blessed. I love all the zip codes. I have no preference. It just depends on you.
Right. No, I would agree with that. Yeah.
What's your favorite?
My favorite, well, I mean, other than the one I live in.
All right, we won't go any further. Then they'll be like, this is set up. All right, thank you, Joseph and Yari. They're watching from Ponte Vedra, Florida. Would you agree, friends? 32081, 32082. Not bad. Not too bad. So I wish I got in earlier, to be honest with you. I feel like I came to the game too late 7 years ago.
I know, really, us too.
Yeah. You were post-COVID too, right?
Yeah, we were.
Woo!
Yeah.
Look at her disposition, folks, how it changed so dramatically.
I
Coming back from Chicago, coming home, and then realizing everybody found out about your hometown, how cool it was.
Pretty much, yeah. Realize, everybody else found out this is a cool place to be too. but it does sound like some of it's sort of settling out. And really, real estate's a long game, So
Absolutely.
I'm not even, worried about that for us at all, because I'm pretty sure this is it for us housewives. So I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, well, when you're late 40s, can you be bothered?
I'm still early 40s.
No, you're early 40s. Sorry. I didn't ask. I wasn't being rude.
Just throwing it out there.
I'm the older one. I'm the late 40s people. So
hey, see, and I called you young.
You call me young?
I call you young. Oh,
you're sweet. I think you're just being nice, but I feel young. You know what? I don't feel old. So for all my folks out there that they always say to me, "Oh my gosh, you're that what? You're that really?" I'm like, yeah,
it's because we get to live here.
Yeah. I think it's just because I still have hair. That's why it doesn't, it's not as telling. And I run around and I show so many houses that I can't gain weight because I'm running 10 hours a day all weekend from house to house. And this
heat, energy of like a 25-year-old. So there you go.
Yeah. I don't even need a sauna this summer. I was like baking in framed build houses of clients, videoing them for them and telling them updates and sweating in the background. So
you love every minute of it.
Yes, I do. Well, that's why I do it. What was I going to say? Oh, another big thing, that big area that's north of us in Nocatee that we're starting to hear a lot about. They're starting to make announcements about Everrange, Park Group's next big development. Everrange in E-Town. What zip code is that? I need to remind myself. Zip code Everrange.
Sure. Let's see if this says it.
I have a feeling, even though it's Duval, I think this place, it's 32224.
Ooh, okay.
That's not on the list yet, but I believe that this area, location-wise, is also phenomenal. And this is a future development of over 10,000 homes in the next 10, 15 years. And the surf park is in this area, the National Surf Park, but there's only less than 20 in the world. I believe my prediction is this will be one of the hottest zip codes coming here to the Jacksonville area.
Oh, I like that prediction.
So
yes,
not only did I give you my preference, folks, I'm giving you the prediction. A lot of people are not sure because it's not St. Johns County, but the Park Group, they did an amazing job with Nocatee. Everybody's trying to copy it. And the question is, can they do it again? And my vote is they can. And I'm watching. I'm excited about it. And it's not because I want to sell houses there, folks. I really don't. The way they build the infrastructure they're preparing right now, the ideas that are coming and the surprises that we get every year here in Nocatee, even here to the end with commercial development, we're always going to be, they always keep you anticipating in their development over there. It's done so well that I think it will create another amazing master plan community in the heart of Jacksonville, which people are going to like. They're going to like it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can see some of the construction going on whenever I drive past it on Phillips Highway, US 1. And I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see like what it ends up looking like.
Talk to me when you're excited about when it's connected to 20 Mile on the north side there by Timberland Ridge, and we have traffic and we can't get out at 20 Mile because the traffic's gonna be fine. But they'll have to put a traffic light, but it will connect all the way through there, and it will be really cool. Thinking you have 3 master plan communities: Nocatee, Everrange, and E-Town. So I'm super excited about it. Spoiler alert: it's coming, it's happening. That's what all the construction's happening. And so I'm excited about that zip code 3224. Hey, folks, anything else, Rachel? Did I miss anything else?
I have nothing else for you tonight.
Top of the hour. Great job. Thank you very much, everybody. Put hands together for Miss Rachel, putting some research together. We're going to start really getting local folks with updates on local news on what's going on in the area. We got locals watching. Thank you for watching from Ponte Vedra, Joseph, and Yari. Appreciate that. And for those of you that didn't tell us where you're watching from and know you're watching, thank you for joining us. It means so much to us. And if you're thinking about selling and love to, and you have to move, I don't think it's a great time to sell right now, but if you have to move, if you would like that true evaluation and marketing plan of what it's going to take to sell in this market, please give me a call. You can text me, call me, email me. It'll be in the description below. And of course, if you're thinking about relocating the area, no brainer. 70% of my business is relocating people from all over the country. And I love it too. I love that aspect of meeting all people from all different parts of the country with all their different stories. That's what makes me thrive. People with good auras, good energy. So if that's you, you can also call me, text me, email me. It's never too soon. Let's start having that conversation. Thank you for joining us tonight. And again, next week we'll be talking about St. Augustine versus Jacksonville. Who's going to win there? Still got to do end stream.